everyone, it's Dani Stevens here and I'm joined by the greatest and world champion Ironman, the wonderful Trevor Hendy. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks Dani, beautiful intro.
Thank you, I do it every day. So you've obviously been, a fit person pretty much in your entire life.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about what's happening with your life. There's some big things.
Yeah, there is. And I think a quick way of explaining was I, cried my first day at Nippers. Surf Life Survey many years ago, didn't want to do it, and then got my head around, wow, this is kind of fun to challenge myself. Then one day I decided I wanted to be the best, and worked out that there's a whole lot of training to do. Once I worked out that, once the 90% of training was done, I worked out it's actually 90% mental and 10%, actual physical once you get to that level. Then after a period of time and racing and realising that I could make racing work and everything else, but relationships would start to struggle and other things that I had difficulty with, I realised that actually it's 90% spiritual and emotional, and the mental follows from that and the physical follows from that. So in a natural progression, I just went from Nippers to 35 years of age. But in a natural progression, what's happened is I absolutely love travelling around and helping people make that shift from this fixation we have with the physical world and physical life and the house and the car and the body and all that sort of stuff to more inner health and inner wellness and everything else, and that other world, that non-physical world that suggests possibly who we really are. Not what you see, but what comes out of me, what I'm all about, and what each of us are all about. So I suppose you could say I haven't worked out a term yet, but it's some sort of a holistic life coach and a bit of a facilitator. Certainly a clearer, like helping people clear the junk that would stop them just realising this for themselves. And I do that corporately, individually, and everything else. And I think just recently I wrote, probably my life's work is the 12-week course called the Bootcamp for the Soul, which is an online course people can do in the comfort of their own homes and everything else. And that's all about discovering who we are, and by seeing some of the junk that's floating around in our head, the expectations, the things that we've grown up and been conditioned to believe are the real most important things in life that are a load of junk. Yes. By seeing those things, beautiful nature behind us, we actually you see that and you release it, and then you realise who you are behind that. So you could say this is very much about spiritual work, but it's not about a concept or a modality or anything else. It's actually about who we are. We are incredibly powerful human beings that are capable of lots of things, including drama.
Yes, of course.
But when you clear it and when you're coming from the right place, life can be an absolute, a masterpiece or a canvas to paint something beautiful on, and there's no reason why we can't live our best life. So that's what I do. Oh wow! And has this boot camp kicked off? Are you saying it's in the comfort of our own home? Yes. Okay, so you don't have to go at surface at the beach or meet up at 5 AM. Come on, guys! It's boot camp time. Yeah. Well, two things. First one was I had the realisation that life was a boot camp for the soul. In other words, we wake up every morning and we're confronted and challenged with what we don't realise are our own creations, because it looks like he did it to me and she did it, but from another level, I suppose you could say we've manifested or attracted these situations into our life by not understanding what we're really capable of. So once you understand this, you're like, wow, that's so true. So first thing is, it's a boot camp for soul life. So when I wrote the program, I thought I'm going to call it that. Also because it implies that you do have to get a bit sticky, and just like you have to do 5 AM sit-ups and everything else in a boot camp, you do have to actually face some things and go, wow, it doesn't just happen. You've kind of got to look at it and view it and be willing and want to go towards your better self, So yeah, it's actually online, and it's literally anyone can start at any day of the week. And it starts for them the next Sunday. So it's just trevorhendy.com, follow the thing to the Bootcamp for the Soul, but it starts the following Sunday, and Monday to Saturday, morning and night, there's emails which you can listen to or read, and a few little videos and things like that. So it's like bookends for your day. You wake up in the morning and go, what an interesting viewpoint. And most people, everybody who's done it said, I cannot believe, from the moment I read the first one, I went, this is so true. And it's just who we are. We're not talking about it in schools, in government, in life, and anything else, but we're amazing people and we have incredible capabilities, but we're stuck in all this junk.
We are. Now, a lot of my readers love to nourish their soul with food.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about your food regime. What can we expect on your plate? What do you like to eat?
I think if you could, I eat pretty naturally. So if you could, the closest thing that would be what I eat would be the paleo diet.
Yes.
That's the closest thing, because I do love that little bit of meat, but I love fish and I love chicken and I love eggs and all that sort of stuff. I still tend to have that protein need in my life. But I've really developed that love for raw, and I've developed that love for natural, and how long ago was it on the tree?
That's right. Yeah.
Whose garden was it in? What was in the soil? All that sort of stuff. And not so much because I've become really strict about it, but more because I can feel the difference. Every time I put it, you look at an apple that's alive and you go, that thing is beautiful from the first bite.
Yes.
You look at one that's been cryovac and all sorts of other things happen to it. Well, that's a hell of a lot better than a chocolate bar. But when you eat it, it doesn't have that same infused life and spirit and being in it. So the two tie together for me, because the belief of who we are on the inside relates to why I choose the foods, and why as a family we're constantly going more towards, in a challenging world, in this environment, kids at school and everything, to go towards off the sugar or very limited processed sugars and everything else, and how much can we fill our kids with beautiful food. So lots of fruit and veg, lots of fresh stuff. And certainly the beautiful clean meats and everything else, but I'm not scared of fat, not scared of those things. If anything, that I don't have breads and pastas and cereals, because I can feel it affects me, and most of it's all genetically modified wheats and things these days, and I don't have sugar. So my family aren't quite the same,
But you can be an example.
No, it's perfect. Yeah. I more recently myself just totally had the realization that when life wasn't being so sweet to me, and I wanted sugar to make it a bit sweeter, but that's me not being sweet to myself, because you go up and back down you come. And there's an incredible link between, which I don't have to talk about, there's an incredible link between sugar and the suppressing of your own awareness. So I'm all about being aware, intuitive, alive, loving life and people, and it's amazing what sugar does. It's like putting molasses inside of our heads. So that's a little bit of a taste of it.
And how about with your fitness now? Like obviously, you're a fit fanatic, since you were a nipper. So how do you keep fit? A
lot more balance these days.
Yeah.
Once upon a time it was 5 hours, 6 hours a day trying to win a world title. Had so many beautiful realizations about that, but it's more about movement these days. So I actually now love to go for a jog, or love to go for an ocean swim, or even go for a swim in an Olympic pool, which I thought I'd never go back to.
Yeah.
Still love to go for paddle with my son, who's now sort of racing and following in my footsteps, and so still love to be able to. I think of the principle, I love to go, if I go to a holiday and someone says, that hill over there is like a half-day climb and it's the most incredible view of the whole area, I would love my whole family to go, let's grab a water bottle and some food, and away we go. So that's why I want fitness.
Yes.
I want fitness to be able to do that. I'll hike up there and ski down those chutes when I'm snow skiing or something like that. So a lot of that sort of stuff that keeps me active and healthy and fit and the body moving, but I also love those beautiful practices like Qigong and not so much Tai Chi, I haven't done a lot of that, but beautiful yoga like Bikram yoga and overheat yourself and all those sort of things, and so I love that stuff, that real yin and yang approach to exercise now. Sometimes I love to get the sweat up, raise the heart rate, push it, and sometimes it's just all about connecting with what's going on around you.
And you're looking pretty stylish today, so how about your fashion icon, or who inspires you as far as when you wake up? I know boys are sort of you were used to the boardies and running down the beach, and you weren't really watching what you're wearing, but who inspires you with your style?
That's a really good question. I don't have anyone at the moment. I think I think my wife and life partner Jo, I think she's incredible at connecting with me and going, honey, that just really sits well on you or suits you or whatever. So we go shopping together, and every now and then, and change the wardrobe over whatever else. But I think probably the biggest thing that inspires whatever I wear is how I feel. Is what I truly, how I feel and what I want to express. And so it's not really as much an obvious choice as it is an intuition. Like I love the feel of this. So I think this is YD, Youth Division. I'm 46, and and I went in there recently, bought 2 suits, and I started off just looking for a suit. I just had a feeling I got to get a new suit, and I bought 2 suits and all these clothes and everything else. And I walked out going, isn't it beautiful when you buy something that someone's put the care and effort into creating it, whether it's clothes, whether it's eating beautiful food that's being cared for, whether it's a car that's been created, or a nice leather lounge or something.
Yes.
It's not how much it costs, it's not what the label is, it's what was put into it, where it came from. And so I literally, you know, put this suit on, and I walked around for the next few days and went to some business, and people going, "How beautiful is your suit?" You know, and I wasn't walking going like,
"Hey,
you know,
I'm looking the goods." Yeah.
So yeah, so isn't it funny that I can't think of somebody at the moment that I think, oh, I like what they wear or what they do.
Yeah.
It's probably more my own person, which is
Yeah,
great news. I just realised that.
There you go.
That's great news. But I do, you know, I do see those people just feel comfortable in themselves. I like what they wear.
Yeah, awesome. Now, lucky last. When you leave the house, what are the 3 things that you would never leave behind?
I wouldn't say never, but don't.
Don't.
Because is mobile phone.
Yes.
The old iPhone. Not because I'm addicted to it. I went several years without a mobile phone and without an internet, without an email address. And I loved it. It was beautiful. I learned to create that all the messages were waiting for me and all the calls would line up. So it was an amazing spiritual experience, actually, not having that stuff. So I can very much not answer it when it rings. But isn't it incredible what you can do these days and who you can connect with and what you can share with people just from that one device, you know, and as long as it doesn't own us. So that's one thing. I would say my togs and my board shorts.
Yep.
It'd be very hard for me to go too far without that. Isn't it funny? But obviously family's a huge one, but I would think of the little necessities that I need. It would be either fresh, clean water, or some form of nutrition, protein. I often,
snack.
my wife, she always says to me, like, we go to walk out the door and I go straight to the fridge, you know, because I trust what's in there often more than what I'm going to come across in the day. So I mean, there's lots of things I could think of, but I love those things. And I have a beautiful little set of Nikon cameras as well, which is hard to leave behind. I love photography, so I love going and capturing the moment. So.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining us today on DaniStevens.com, and we'll see you next time.